Well, Forrester, who's not known much for hyperbole, recently came out and said businesses adopting AI, IoT, and big data will take $1.2 trillion from their less informed peers by 2020. $1.2 trillion. To put that in some sort of context, the GDP of Australia is $1.8 trillion. The GDP of the US, the largest GDP in the world, is only $16.7 trillion. This is going to be the largest economic shift in the history of the world, and it's going to happen basically by tomorrow, within the next 18 months. Because one of the things we've seen from technology is things are moving faster and faster and faster. We don't have to wait for the future anymore. You know, William Gibson, the novelist, came out recently in an interview with The Economist, and they asked him about the future, and he said, the future is already here. It's just not evenly distributed. Think about that, and think about how much we've seen during our professional lives, even those of you who haven't been doing this very long. How many of you, by a show of hands, do not have a smartphone with you? Raise your hand. Any Amish in the room? Anyone? Not one hand. Think of how remarkable that is. Every person in this room currently has on their hip, in their pocket, in their purse, more computing power than existed on the planet when I was a little boy. And how long has this been around? Believe it or not, we forget, Steve Jobs introduced us to the iPhone in 2007. It's only been just a little bit over 10 years that we've had the iPhone, that we've had smartphones. 2007, by the way, was a remarkable year. It was in that same year we got introduced to Facebook. It left the Harvard campus. Twitter hit the scene. Airbnb, Watson, Kindle, Change.org, Android operating system. And for the geeks out there, our world changed radically with the introduction of Hadoop, a manifestation of the MapReduce paradigm, so now we could actually handle this unbelievable amount, unprecedented amount of data at scale. And GitHub. GitHub changed everything. Why? Because now we could connect. Because connections and connecting is really what AI and the modern age of technology is all about. Yeah, there's the connections that the internet allows. There's connections that are going to be facilitated and augmented by 5G technology and by edge computing. But it's the human connections that are really making all the difference. Our ability to collaborate, to coordinate, to come together like never before. This is an unprecedented time in human history.